Hi, I'm James Schillinglaw with Nexion Travel Group, and I'm here aboard Celebrity Equinox. And we're actually nearing the end of this conference, but we wanted to take a few minutes to talk with the top training and education executive here in Nexion, and that's Heather Kindred, who is indeed Vice President, Business Development and Education. But she also doubles as Program Director for a program called Travel Leaders of Tomorrow, and we're going to talk about that as well. And you're going to hear all about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Heather, first of all, great to see you aboard. We've interviewed before in the last year, and here we are again, and we're on this wonderful cruise, almost to the end. But first of all, tell me a little bit about how Nexion trains travel advisors today. What's kind of the sequence of programs for different kinds of travel agents and with different kinds of experiences, right?
Yeah, perfect. So good to see you again, by the way. Yeah. So it depends on how you're coming in. If you're coming into the industry brand new, Nexion is actually, that's a sweet spot for us, and we partner with Travel Leaders of Tomorrow for education, and they can either do a virtual campus program that is now 13 weeks instead of the old 17 weeks. We've shortened it and condensed it, or they can do an independent learner program, which is an on-demand program. So if you're coming in new, you package that program with some coaching from a business development and education manager on the team, and that helps you get launched. Oftentimes, they're going to partner that with maybe one of our fundamental events, which I'll talk about in a minute.
Okay.
If they're coming in to Nexion new to the industry or new to Nexion, we have inside our Nexion University the roadmap to success. And based on your experience level, you'll get assigned a certain curricula that you can work your way through to get to the point where you're feeling pretty confident. If you've been an advisor for a while, you'll be welcomed into that roadmap, and then you can go through a track that's more sophisticated and a little less basic.
So that's great. So you have different ways to educate different levels of experience. Now, you also have, literally, you were listening the other day, and you have so many different events and sessions and all kinds of things during the course of the year. Talk about some of the most essential ones and the ones you think that Nexion, obviously, they're different events for different types of travel advisors. So talk a little bit about that wide variety of events you offer during the course of the year.
Yes, of course. So I'm going to start with people that come in that are either with Nexion or come to Nexion that are experienced. And we have a group of specialty events that will cater to the kind of advisor they are. So it could be luxury, which does have some qualifiers, but if you're coming in new to Nexion, as long as we have some idea of what you've sold in the past. We also have a leap into luxury, which is for people that are maybe newer in that genre. We do a group sales summit. We also do marketing symposiums, marketing and sales symposiums, and business planning symposiums. If you have a corporate background, we do have a corporate connections we run once a year, but that again, you have to qualify for and have a specific kind of clientele. If you're new to the industry, some of our fundamentals. So our essentials is probably the most important one to attend. We run most of those virtually, 5 days, but they're very engaging. We get great reviews. There's a lot of friendships that come out of that. And then once a year, we'll do it live in person in Irving.
And you, of course, have this event, which is the Co-Nexion Conference, which is kind of your largest conference of the year, right?
Absolutely. So this is our international conference. We're bringing in suppliers, agents from both Canada and the U.S., and our staff, which covers Canada, the U.S., and Montevideo. So it's a really fun event for us.
It is a great fun, and we've done it a number of times over the years, and you always pick a great venue. And so you also you have a relatively new something you call immersive journeys program, and it sounded. I asked you this question, I think, at the press conference. Why is this different from a fam trip? But tell me, well, first of all, what are immersive journeys, and why is it different from a fam trip?
So that's a good question. So a fam trip to us is something that a supplier takes a group of advisors, and you basically just run ragged for days on end. You start early in the morning, and you end late at night, and you've seen 50 properties, and you've been through many, many training sessions. The immersive journey sort of came out of the idea of bringing a group of advisors onto a specific brand, spending 5 days or 7 days on a brand, immersing themselves in that brand, on that ship, in that location. And in addition to being a client on board or in destination, one of our team comes and we put together sort of curated content with a theme. So it might be a theme around luxury, might be a theme around groups, family travel. We have them going out next month with Royal Caribbean for family travel. We've done marketing immersive journeys. Just something that we think will cater to someone. It might match with the brand, and they might get a 2-for-1. Learn about the brand, a destination, and, by the way, marketing or something like that.
So it's definitely an immersion, and it's not. I've been on a few FAMs in my time where it was great, but you're running around going to lots of hotels. I mean, you're exhausted by the end, and it's great. You get a lot of knowledge, but this sounds a little bit more intense in a certain area, right?
Correct. Intense, but also relaxing. Yeah. So they get to also experience things like a client would. Okay.
So I mentioned earlier that you're also director of the Travel Leaders of Tomorrow, which is actually an organization within your parent Internova that is educating travel advisors. First of all, remind me exactly what Travel Leaders of Tomorrow is.
So that's a training program for new to the industry, and it was launched in April of 2013, so we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary. It started out as a longer program. We eventually settled on 17 weeks, and just this year we launched a shorter, more compact curriculum of 13 weeks. And you spend that time with an instructor leading you through the program and the content with a small cohort of other students. They have a final presentation they do at the end where we typically will bring in some other folks from around the company to listen to what they have to offer and what their plans are in the travel industry.
And then, of course, you help place them maybe with a Nexion travel agency or one of your other Internova travel agencies, or they don't, maybe none of the above. It depends, right?
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true. And the other way they can come to us is if another agency, whether they're under our parent company or not, maybe hires someone or wants to put an independent contractor or an employee through our training. We've done both.
So this is kind of a neutral, program for all travel advisors in a way, right?
Absolutely, we are open.
Or all potential and newbie, right?
All potential travel agents, open to anyone. That's
great. No, and that's a wonderful program. Now, what's new for 2024 in terms of Nexion training and education? What can your Nexion members expect?
Well, so we're launching a couple of new events next year, but also we're launching a couple new programs. One of them is Forward Motion, which is an accountability peer-to-peer program. We jokingly call it like Weight Watchers without the dieting and the weighing in. So it's basically a place where you pair up with another Nexion member and you guys work together to figure out some goals, some things that you need to work on, and hold each other accountable for it.
So this was formerly like a mentor program, but this is now evolved into this, right?
It's been definitely an evolution. We had our mentor program for I think at least a decade. It was quite successful. We wanted to try something different. Mentor programs and coaching programs are abundant right now, and we wanted to find something that was a little bit more equal across two people helping each other out.
Well, it sounds like you have all bases covered. You can bring in new travel advisors. People want to be travel advisors and train them through the Travel Leaders of Tomorrow, place them, or you have a lot of different courses and events and everything else for just Nexion members as well. So you're going to become pretty educated if you end up passing all of these different courses, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a great organization.
Now, let's find out, where can Nexion members go to learn more about Nexion's training and education programs, and then tell us about the Travel Leaders of Tomorrow program and where people can go to learn more about that.
Well, if you're a Nexion member, you want to go to our intranet or My Nexion. Mm-hmm. If you are not a Nexion member and interested, go to Nexion.com. And if you are someone who wants to become a travel agent and you don't know where to get started, but you want some training, TravelLeadersOfTomorrow.com, and we will help you with all your questions and find out if we're a good fit for you.
Heather, I want to thank you once again for filling us in on what's going on with this really crucial area, education and training for travel advisors. I know a lot of people. I generally recommend Nexion as one of the best to learn if you're a newbie and want to go in. And now you have this Travel Leaders of Tomorrow that you've had for 10 years now. Another great place to go and really learn how to become a travel advisor. I guess one of the other things I do is how many graduates do you have, let's see, of Travel Leaders of Tomorrow, roughly at this point?
Well, We've had at least 2,000 or more at this point, it's probably more, that have gone through the program. So I feel like we're making a good contribution. Some of those students that have gone through the program have placed with agencies that I'm familiar with are very, very successful. So it's a fun journey to watch.
And you have pretty good acceptance of the specific Nexion travel and education that you have out there in terms of how many advisors have gone through all of those programs. They like it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I guess the only last question is, where we asked you where to go, but are you seeing a lot more people in Travel Leaders of Tomorrow? Because obviously after COVID, I get a sense a lot of people want to become travel advisors.
It has definitely come around. We always had classes the whole time we were going through the sort of a transitional period. I don't know what to call it. And right now we just had our biggest class since 2019, which is 25 new students. So that's super exciting for us. And then I don't think I mentioned that we're launching our new Travel Leaders of Tomorrow business program to kind of fill in the space that corporate travel advisors today, opening that up. I think agencies are more likely than ever to look at hiring a brand new person to service their corporate clientele, and we want to be there to help train them.
And absolutely, and you are, and that's great news. Now, congratulations on all these wonderful programs. You keep putting new programs in. You keep adjusting programs, and now we have a case in this new world where suddenly being a travel advisor is a pretty popular thing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.